What's up, everyone? Dave again here, back to do some more videos for you guys. Now that I've got my studio almost completely set up, we got a few more things I got to do to the studio, but it's enough to where I'm out here and I've been painting stuff out here. So I figured I would need to get some recording done for y'all. Again, thank you all for all my Patreons. This video is y'all. It's only going to be up for you guys. But today I will be working on the body of this Night House Porphyrion. Night House Porphyrion. What the hell? This Night Porphyrion that will be eventually painted in House Veroni. But today I figured I'd do the metal. I'll show you how I do the metallics on it. And of course, of always, I like to use, I'll be doing my base metal work over black primer with this gunmetal gray. It's a dark metallic. So we'll go ahead and, without further ado, start laying on some color. And I will start off with this. I'm using my Badger 105, just like the regular 105. Not the Patriot Extreme or anything like just the Patriot 105. So I'll be coming down 45-degree angle, land metal, just all the way around, working myself around the model, 45-degree angle. I'll do the upper part first, and then I'll separate the torso, just basically lift it off. And I will do the lower half. All right, so done all that. I got these jokers magnetized. You don't necessarily have to magnetize the Porphyrion, but I always do. And how I do it, pro tip, I stick a washer in there. So just stick a washer inside there. You can get to it from the inside fairly easy. Glue it from the backside. Make sure it's a little bit bigger than the hole, the diameter of the hole. And then I'll just take a nice strong N52 magnet and put it on the. You have to chop down the thickness of the magnet from the stud, and just glue it on there. You're good to go. Well, I will go ahead and paint the backside of these guns. And then put this on because I tend to fling this paint a little. But 45-degree angle. That simple. Done. Lay it out of the way. Over here, again, 45-degree angle. Done. Lay it out of the way. Now we're going to go ahead and actually, 1 second. Let me kick a fan on. I forgot to kick one of my fans on. Get some of this spray out of here. There. Sorry. Guys, remember, oh, that was the sound of a fan falling off the table. Son of a bitch. There we go. Now that all that horse shit's over with. Live. That's why I love going live. Anyways. Now I got the ventilation going, I'll continue. Again, just a 45-degree angle. are done. So that is the first part of the base. Yeah. Now, the next part, you're really going to have some good ventilation going on. I'm going to actually put my respirator on and open the door for this one. Just because, let's make a mess. Why am I so bad at this? Well, that's a good one today. You guys are getting the full spectrum. Oh, well. All right. So I got the airbrush all clean, kind of clean out. Let me get the rest of it cleaned out. Because the next step is going to be to spray something that's oil based, mineral spirits, I guess you could say. I'll go ahead and kick the door open. One more solid, just to get that shit moving. Now, very important. Some of these things that you do spray, you need good ventilation and a respirator for yourself, because you don't want this shit in your lungs. I'm not going to be that, oh, well, Dave wasn't using the respirator when he was spraying this shit. Oh, shit. Very good investment. It was only $23 for a respirator. But I'm going to go ahead and get this joker on. It might be a little hard to hear me. Sorry, but I like my lungs. Going to use AK Interactive Streaking Grime next. I have already thinned this down. It's been pre-thinned. I've got like an old t-shirt I'm going to use for some in spots in case I get it too heavy. But we're going to go ahead and just pour that in straight. Like I said, well, no, I'm saying straight, but straight out of the bottle that I've already pre-thinned. Put a cap on. Okay. Again, you're going to want to get solid coverage with this. The bubbling sound, I got a little bit of water on the backside of this. That's what's bubbling. Remember, guys, you do not want to be breathing these fumes. Get a respirator. Don't try to be a fucking hero.
All right. So we used all that. There was a lot of fumes in here. I mean, if you can see it, it's cloudy shit. I'm going to clear out my airbrush with mineral spirits. Again, you do not want to be breathing this stuff straight out of the airbrush. And it ionizes everything, and it's really bad for you, just so you know. Clean out my airbrush. All right.
All right, guys. So, again, you want to be careful when it comes to airbrushing with these mineral spirits or oil-based paints, or any of the Tamiya paints as well. You got to have some really good ventilation going on. Now, if you'll notice, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but it's put the streaking grime has put a nice little hue over the metallic, and that's what we want. So it's all covered, and now I will move on to the next couple stages. Move on to the next couple stages of doing the metal work, and for that I gotta go grab a sponge. 1 second. All right, so these are pieces of foam that I get from Battle Foam. This little pull-out pieces of foam. I use the fire out of them. So I'm going to do all the metallic. I'm going to do what's going to be funny. This is what I'm going to use to do my metallic work. A fucking sponge. Not going to use a brush. Not going to airbrush. I've already done all the airbrushing that I'm going to need to do. And I've already done all of the no brush work, really. Just this is right here. This is what I'm going to use. I don't know if you want to call it being a smart ass or whatever, but I'm going to do all my metal work with a piece of damn throwaway sponge. But you're going to need some paper towels, because we're essentially doing this just like dry brushing, but the dry brushing will be the sponge. Where the hell did my palette go? Ah, there it is. Right on my face. All right, so the next color I'm going to use, we're going to break this apart. Just want to put it together to give you guys an idea of the look I was going for. It's a really muted and just grungy, dirty brown on the metallic. But we're going to go up to the next color. The next color is going to be the dark aluminum. So we're going to put a couple drops of this on our palette. And then we're going to, I'll take the sponge and rip it apart. See, I don't want it to be consistent. I don't want it to be jagged and different edges and all that jazz. But I'll just dip it in there. Let it soak up to the sponge a little bit. Knock off the excess. Come over here to our paper towel and just run it down. Get rid of a bunch of it. Now, this is something that I've developed. I've kind of just stumbled across. Now, when it comes to making a burnished look, it really won't matter too much on these panels, on the tops of these, because it'll be covered. But I'll do it just to show you how to get the burnished look. So you're going to want to just drag it down take it at a 45-degree angle, and just drag everything off at an angle. Instead of going straight down, drag it all at an angle. It helps. It helps with accenting the metal and just makes it look cooler. A lot of this will be covered. The stuff that won't be covered will look really, really shit hot. Now, once you get your initial 45-degree swipes in, you can just go other directions with it. Because once you get the uniform 45-degree swipe, and then you start going other directions with it, it gives it the burnished look. So it makes the metal look burnished, and that's what you want. Or machined. It just looks really cool. But that's it. That's how I do my metallics. Of course, I'll come back in with a highlight of chrome. And once I do the highlight of chrome, I'm done. I mean, you're going to put the chrome on just ever so slightly. Now, if you go a different direction with these, you'll see that it gives it that burnished look. Right through there. Not so much up here, like I said, because that's going to be completely covered with the panel. Down there, it's like a machined and burnished look. And we're going to continue this over all of the metalwork on the night. This is something I've just recently started doing. So the warlords that I've got planned for Adepticon, I'm going to be doing this same exact recipe on the warlords. So, oops, a little heavy there. You wanna knock some out. Thankfully, those areas where it's really heavy will be covered by panel work. But you'll notice this stuff that sponge does really well. I like to try to find like just weird shit to paint with. Kind of like this was kind of like a challenge to myself. Like, I wonder if I could do all my metal work with a sponge. So I challenged myself to do it. And that 1 week where I did all those nights in that 1 week, I used the same technique across all those nights. And that week is where I kind of stumbled upon it. So I haven't really been doing this very long. I just really liked the way those turned out, and I got I got pretty good reviews from everybody. Everyone was very, very, very cool about their input. Like, hey, it looked good. How'd you do it? Here we are. You guys are seeing it. I didn't tell everyone how I did it because you can't really give away all your secrets. But you guys are Patreons, so that's different. You guys are special. Your mice kind of special. But if you look, camera will pick it up. You can see the metallic. And it's a nice, dirty, metallic look. And that's what I wanted. So we'll go ahead and transfer it up to the body now. Good. And since I'm going to do this across a broader spectrum, I'll just use a little bit more of the brush. Just want to knock off. You don't want to have. It's essentially dry brushing with a sponge. All it is. If you can do a dry brush, then you can do this technique. You just got to try to keep in mind what burnished metal look like. So if you research burnished metal on Google, you can achieve that image, or you can achieve that effect, just by simply watching how the grains and the scratches and all that is in the metal. So you can kind of repeat it doing a sponge. Of course, I'll come back in and add some copper to the metallic base on spots. But you get the idea of the look I'm going and just how simple it is to achieve. I mean, you see it didn't take but a few minutes to get to the spot where I've got, I would say, 80% of my metal base work done. I'll have to do, like I said, a highlight with the chrome, and then I will do some bits and bobs here and there on the base. Like I'll paint the pistons like a gold or a brass. I'll paint some of these other pieces like a copper. Just add other metallics to it. Makes it look really good. Let's see. You'll see. I'll start my first little bit at a 45-degree angle. Just because I want the strokes or the effect from the sponge to do a lot of scratching that way. Now you'll notice sometimes I'll do weathering on tanks or flyers, and I'll do a lot of, it'll be like scratched and like it'll look just like that, like scratched and like worn. That's how I get that effect right here. I use a sponge, just drag it at a 45-degree angle, or I'll change the angles once I get my 45-degree angle down, and I'll give myself that burnished look. It looks really good right there. Oh, man. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but right there inside of that, it's the subtle details that really make these models look awesome. And if you can just get something as simple as replicating like a burnished metal or an old worn metal look, it looks really freaking cool. That looks awesome. It just makes a model look really good. Almost done with my metal base. As you can see, we're let's see how many minutes. We're not very many minutes in. I don't have a timestamp for some reason with Google Hangouts. But whatever. We're not into it very much time. And you already get an awesome look in such a short time. Using a freaking thing that you would have thrown away. Sponge pull out. So you just change your directions. Just to keep the scratches to look a certain way. I used to do like warp lock bronze base before I did my metallics. But I think, honestly, I think this way is going to be a substitute for that. It's going to pretty much eliminate the warp lock bronze altogether, because the streaking grime gives me the effect that I like. That I liked with machined metal. It just dulls it down. It gives it like a natural dulling with the oils. Well, it'd be an oil base. Oh, a little bit too much on there still. But yeah, shit looks good. Shit hot. I don't know if you can see it there, but it's a nice machined. Now, if I got heavy chipping one way, I'll chip it the opposite way, and that's what helps really give it the burnished look. Just crisscrossing patterns. Let's see. And I could stop here, but I'm going to do some more light. I'm going to do some more light detail, highlight detail, and I will go for this other sponge. And I'll only go on certain areas of the gun of the metal. I won't brush this stuff all over. I'll even let it mix up some with the last color on my palette because it helps with the blending. So we'll start down here on the legs. Just getting the edges. Just smacking the edges to really accent that and give it a crisp, clean wear mark. Really just want to go for the edges. Again, I don't know if you want to call this being a smart ass, painting with a damn sponge, but it's something I figured out, and it looks really good. Minimal effort. I mean, you see how much effort I'm putting into this. Very minimal. You know, I'm just where you put it, how you apply it, what areas you're trying to accent is really all it takes. I mean, this is almost like edge highlighting, but with a sponge, because I'm just going after the edges, which this is a bright silver, so it will catch those sharp edges, no problem. I mean, normally this area isn't covered on your knights, but if you go after it and move the angles, like I said, try to crisscross the patterns. Man, does it look good. It looks awesome in person. And it really helps age. It makes the metal look really aged, which is the direction I want to go whenever you're painting these knights. That's the direction I want to go anyhow. So we got our legs done. Now we'll come up here. We'll do these on the body. Again, we're going after the sharp edges. Not going to have to go all over because just this is our edge highlighting with a damn sponge. And you just got to drag it over the sharp edges of the corners, and it just looks fucking amazing. Anything that's super raised. You know, tips of these barrels I want to be a little bit brighter. So I'll hit those. I'll see what angle I've got going on with my layers underneath, and I'll go the opposite. I'll go the opposite of whatever the scratches are predominantly going, and it just helps further antique and age the metal. Super excited about this. I've been wanting to do a House of Veroni night for so long. My biggest thing is I mean I can. My shortcomings is freehand. I'm not had a whole lot of time to invest in learning how to up my freehand game, just because that's very time consuming. It's just like non-metal metallics. That's time consuming. You have to spend a lot of time, and I don't have right now. I don't have a lot of time free because I've got a lot of commissions, and I don't like getting backlog. I don't like having backlog. Whenever I close down my commissions, I usually give myself at least a month or two extra. So if I got a job that will only take me 2 months, I'll slot out for 4 months just to make sure. Oh man, I don't know if the camera. I hope the camera picks this up. I know some of you guys might be wondering what happened to the GoPro idea. I tried the GoPro idea. I bought it. did some test videos, and man, I had vertigo watching that shit. It was just too all over the place. It didn't work like I thought it was going to. So I took it back. I was like, to hell with this. If I'm going to spend $600 on a camera, then I don't want it to make my viewers sick to their stomach while they're watching me. So I'm going to instead I'll upgrade after Adepticon. I'll upgrade the camera that I'm using right now to a 4K, and just stick with that, because that'll be a lot better for you guys when you're watching it. Because literally, man, my test videos, I was like, oh my god, I feel like I'm gonna puke. Cool idea. And if you see, man, I hope the camera's picking this up because it looks fucking awesome. It's so awesome. All right. All I got left now is this other gun. Move that out of the way. I'll let you guys see what I'm doing. So you notice the scratches going this way, or I got scratches going that way. So I'll go this way. I'll go opposite of them. The tips, I'll just drag it back, because this looks like old metal that's just like been rubbed up against shit, and it's just antique looking metal. I really like the antique look. I like stuff that looks old, especially when it comes to painting stuff in the Heresy. I do paint 40K stuff. It's not, I don't not paint it. I do pretty much just stick to Games Workshop stuff. I do not do any Infinity. I'm not gonna branch off into any other systems just yet, because this is kind of like where my passion lies. Now, if I bring on some more artists and they're cool with doing it, and people are, their work is well received, then I will take on some of those. But I've just learned, through over the last couple years, that I can paint other stuff, but I really should just keep my attention where my passion lies, because it shows up in my work. So, and that, you notice it's missing a part. We were short a part, and I talked to the Del Rosa brothers, and they were like, fuck it. Just keep rolling with it. We'll call it battle damage. There it is. It's missing one of those. Not a big deal. I'll battle damage it up. But there is how I do my metallics. It's pretty simple. Pretty freaking simple. I'm going to let this sit, and I'm going to move on to painting the House of Aroni panels, because I'm at a point now where I may be able to finish this night up today. We'll see. If I can, that'd be great, because I have got to build at least one more warlord. Fingers crossed I can get my personal warlord in there too. So it'd be 2 warlords. But I've got to get this done, a couple Arvis lighters, some Custodes bikes, and at least 1 warlord and some more Imperial Fist. All within a span of, I've got, 19 days? I think it is. Something like that. Not many days. I'll be painting in my hotel room. That's usually how it always goes. But I'm fine with it. All right, so guys, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this one down. That is how I do my metallics. It's super simple. The only thing it required was these 4 items. Got the Vallejo Metal Colors and AK Interactive. Oh, and a sponge. That's it. I did all of that weathering and burnished look, antique look on my metal with these 5 items. I'm counting the sponge. That's it. It's simple. Oh, wait a minute. I've got to reiterate one more thing. It did include this. Guys, don't be a hero. when it comes to spraying anything that is lacquer base or alcohol base, when you atomize that stuff and get it in your lungs, it's not good. So very much invest in one of these respirators and a nice fan. Like you see back here, I've got it blowing right out the door. There's a door right there. It's blowing right out the door. And it's less than just a couple feet from me. So again, I hope you guys found this video to be very informative. It's not very long because it just didn't take very long to show you how to do it. You can replicate this the scratching with doing. I probably wouldn't do the brightest metal, but maybe the mid-grade metal, which is the dark aluminum. Unless you're going across black and you really want to weather black and make it look really just beat up, then you would go with the chrome. Or I also find model air color aluminum to be super damn bright. It's kind of like the mid-tone in between these two. Chrome is really bright, but this is about a good mid color right here between these two colors. But again, thank you guys for checking me out. Like I said, I'll say it over and over. I hope you find these videos informative. I hope you can learn something from them and then apply it onto your own models. We'll catch you on the next one, guys. I really appreciate it. Later.